Afternoon here in Moscow, 12:15. You're watching RT International. Welcome back to the program. Dozens of civilians and surrendering militants have been using humanitarian corridors to escape the besieged Syrian city of Aleppo, following a joint operation between Russia and Syria. 4 more safe passages to be used by civilians to flee will be opened soon, after thousands of locals were left stranded there.
The rebels didn't let us leave the area. We didn't have anything to eat or drink, but the army helped us and gave us a safe passage out.
We went away secretly. We traveled all night long and arrived only at 6 in the morning. I managed to escape with my 2 sons. I thank Allah it happened this way. This is our homeland. We lived there as if we were in prison because they blocked all the roads.
I managed to flee. I knew the rebels wouldn't let me run away so easily. We left at night and walked until we reached a safe place.
We're in the Salahuddin district of Aleppo. In front of us is the last frontier between the government forces and the militant groups. The district out there is still held by the armed militants. The most important corridor is located at the other side of this frontier. It's for the civilians leaving that area to get to the government-held areas where they are guaranteed safety. We've seen dozens of families leaving the district we're in for Damascus or government-held areas of Aleppo.
Less than 100 days remain between the battle of the ballots when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump face off in order to be named the 45th President of the U.S. As well as the usual difficulties that runners face, Democrat candidate Clinton's campaign has also been overshadowed by an email scandal. Some members of her party were adamant that Moscow was behind the hack, which leaked thousands of emails from Democratic National Committee servers. Here's why Clinton herself believes Russia could have orchestrated the leak.
We know that Russian intelligence services, which are part of the Russian government, which is under the firm control of Vladimir Putin, hacked into the DNC. Laying out the facts raises serious issues about Russian interference in our elections.
The FBI is investigating these leaks, and presumably they will come up with some sort of conclusion, and I think we should wait to hear what they are. I don't think Hillary Clinton has any inside information. This is all about conjecture and supposition. If they have evidence, much less proof, then they should present it. Otherwise, they should just wait and see.
Well, the scandal only encouraged protesters during the Democratic Party convention, with crowds blaming Clinton and her team for rigging the election process, as well as plotting against former Democratic hopeful Bernie Sanders. Well, previously, Hillary Clinton had to explain herself over allegations she used her private email for state matters.
I was communicating with over 300 people in my emailing. They certainly did not believe and had no reason to believe that what they were sending was classified.
Well, the problem with what she just said is that it's already been, it was a lie, and it was exposed as a lie several weeks ago when it was revealed that, in fact, quite a number of those emails were, in fact, classified before, and they were not retroactively classified, which does happen, but in this case they really were classified originally. That came out in the original report that was released a couple weeks ago. So that's just not true. She's spinning.
And during a congressional hearing last month on that email scandal, it turned out that Clinton wasn't being entirely open about her communications.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
And the former Secretary of State is still finding that convincing voters of her trustworthiness is a problem.
The Americans know what they think of you. 2/3 of them don't trust you.
Well, I think that it's fair for Americans to have questions.
The entire narrative of her campaign is about competence and experience. And trustworthiness has to be a corollary to those two things. Otherwise, voters aren't going to go along. Donald Trump's not running on those issues. He's running as a maverick who's promising to shake things up. That's a very different narrative, and trustworthiness or lack thereof doesn't disturb his narrative quite as much as it does hers.
Moving on, up to a dozen protesters have been arrested at an anti-fascist protest which turned violent in the German state of Lower Saxony. The anti-fascist rally was met by a protest staged by right-wing activists, which promoted the slogan, "Stop crime by foreigners." Germany has been hit by a spate of attacks, with a number of them committed by asylum seekers. And the recent terror acts have seen Chancellor Merkel come under heavy criticism for her open-door policy on refugees. Turkey has put forward another ultimatum to Brussels, saying that if it's not granted EU visa-free travel by October, Ankara will scrap its migrant deal with the bloc. The EU Commission President has echoed Turkey's words that the agreement is on the verge of collapse. And it seems Ankara should tread carefully when dealing with EU Commissioner Jean-Claude Juncker. In an interview with a Belgian newspaper, Juncker confessed that he has a little black book where he puts the names of all the people who have crossed him. Now, after the UK voted to leave the European Union, many feared high street retailers would suffer as British shoppers watched their pockets and what they took out of it. However, with a weaker pound, many foreign style hunters are taking advantage of the exchange rate to snap up bargains. Laura Smith went along and hit the sales too.
The world hasn't ended and the sun keeps on rising. This is London post-Brexit. Economists are still warning of a recession and a loss of investment. But one sector has seen an unexpected boost from Brexit: fashion. After the vote, the value of the pound plummeted, and a month on, it hasn't made up those losses. Not against the yuan, not against the dollar, and not against the euro. High-end London fashion retailer Wolf & Badger noticed the impact immediately.
We found there was a bit of a surge from American customers online instantly. You know, the average number of orders placed from the US had a rise of 35%. in 3 days. On the other hand, people walking through the doors, maybe we didn't see a massive change in the number of people coming in, but there was a very different type of customer. It was very, lots of Americans, lots of Asians.
Judging by Chinese media, the fashion set there was quick to spot the potential for a post-Brexit bargain bonanza.
A Burberry coat has become a lot more affordable now as it is priced in pounds, and I get paid in renminbi. The Brexit is good news for me.
My first thought after Brexit was that the Harrods summer sale kicks off tomorrow. This means discount after discount.
London's always a top global shopping destination, and nowhere more so than here at Harrods with its distinctive green and gold livery. So I've come here to see whether Brexit has made tourists change their spending habits.
The dollar goes further. Yeah, it definitely goes further here.
Yeah, it's really good time to shop in UK because RMB is much stronger, and also the summer sale. So we think, yeah, it's a good time to shop in here.
For these values, maybe it's not a big change. For, let's say, £1,000 or two, it's not a very big change. But for big values, I think that's the change.
I think maybe just a little bit advantage for the tourists. Yeah.
Back at Wolf and Badger, Di Gennaro is pleased by the strong sales, but fears for the future.
We need to look forward rather than backwards. But what really does affect us is that obviously if it becomes too hard to bring things into the country, or if it becomes more bureaucratic, or there's more obstacles, obviously that creates a cost that we didn't have before. And that's how the general fear is, that all of a sudden running a business becomes more expensive or harder, or it takes more people, it takes more man hours.
No one knows what Brexit will bring, but for now, shoppers and shops are making hay while the sun shines. Laura Smith, RT, London.
You're watching RT International. Sophie Coe is next. She quizzes Formula One founder Bernie Ecclestone about the competition's expansion out of Europe, and a female driver about what it takes to be a success in a male-dominated sport.